What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Juice, man.
2 weeks.
Couple of weeks.
We did it again, man. We fell into our usual ways.
Well, let me
What's your
think.
excuse?
Let me think about
It's
my
on you.
excuses really quick. Went duck hunting. Shot a few birds in Arkansas. Wasn't great, but it was all right.
Are you a bad duck hunter? Or are you good?
Well, it kind of depends on how you look at it. Like, I don't have my own land, so I kind of got to use other guys to go hunt.
Like, what's your ratio, your shot per duck?
Mm.
Do you take
I think that
3
depends
shots
on how
to
you
hit one duck?
Depends on how you got them coming in. If you got them coming in right, decoying, yeah, they're easy to shoot.
Are you a good caller?
No, I'm not great. Look, I'm just now getting kind of into this. You know, I'm like year 2 in.
I don't even know why anybody gets.
But
into
I am
duck
a
hunting.
killer. That's for sure.
Ducks are nasty.
You know, they're not the best tasting.
I don't think I've ever heard a duck hunter be like, "What are you talking about? They're delicious."
No, they're not delicious.
Yeah, you got to wrap them in
Dude,
bacon.
duck hunting, it's like the sport of it, and like, I don't know, man. It's just a lot more. It's a lot of action, and it's fun, dude. You're shooting at
Anyway,
moving
I don't
targets.
think we're doing a duck hunting podcast.
Well,
but
we should.
I make fun of them for
We'll be looking like
duck hunting. It's a waste of time.
meat eater up here.
Yeah. There you go. We can get him on. What's that guy's name?
Steve Rennell.
Steve Rennell. I binge watched that on Netflix.
It's honestly a great podcast, really big podcast. Anyways,
Let's take him fishing.
we're going to talk about fishing. And, you know, we're going to, man, I'm not even going to say it. I was going to say we're going to start ramping this thing up.
No, don't even.
But
don't even
honestly,
lie.
we kind of are, though, because fishing season's coming. It's about to be
Yeah, it is. Okay, to be fair, it's holidays. We had Thanksgiving,
Christmas
deer season,
now.
duck
Yeah.
season. Christmas coming up. We probably won't do one next week. Actually, we might.
We
I'm
probably
around.
will.
But anything new happened since the last time we got on? Like big news. I think we hit on everything. Jordan Lee going back to the elites, all that stuff. Nothing really major.
MLF did come out with a few more changes, if you didn't notice that.
I didn't.
About the BPT and their like 3-4 year plan, whatever it is, 2023, 2024, 2025.
No.
Looking forward how they're going to cut the field down.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
anything good?
no, it's the same old. They're cutting it down. They're just cutting it down less and less each year.
So are they going to stick with 50?
They're going to go down to 50, but they're going to take a little longer to do it. I think.
Oh, so they're not going to do it next year?
No, next year all 80 we're fishing either way.
No, I don't mean 20. I don't mean 2024. I mean 2025.
Yeah, I think they're going to 65 then 50.
Yeah, which they've already lost some guys, so
Right,
it's
yeah.
like too late.
Man, it
they're a
wasn't
bunch of
big
liars
news. It's
anyway.
like basically they're doing the same thing, So it is what it is. But
more drama with the invitationals. Co-anglers getting invited.
co-anglers
Stuff
are
like
getting
that.
invited. Yeah, well, we knew that was.
I mean, they were so desperate to fill the field.
I do know Rayburn's full, because I talked with MLF about that event and stuff and trying to get in and stuff, and as of right now, Rayburn is full. The only way you could get in is if you were fishing all 6.
So if you were to sign up for all 6, they'd bump somebody they told that they could fish Rayburn?
Yeah, but when you sign up, kind of like if you're only fishing one, that
There's a chance you get bumped.
Mm-hmm.
They probably haven't confirmed those people in anyway.
Probably not, but they do have the field full for Rayburn, so that's good for them. I really expected them to. If I really had to guess, I think number 1 would be, no matter where it was, Rayburn, wherever, Okeechobee, somewhere in Florida, maybe.
Yeah.
I think it would be full, but I think what you might see start to happen is by event 3-4. It might be hard to start filling the field unless they just do the local thing, which I think they will.
Yeah. They'll let the locals in. They'll figure it out. Which we've said it time and time again, just devalues the guys that earned it the right way.
It does, man, and
Which sucks.
it does suck. But you kind of go back and forth with it, like we talked to Chad about it, and he's one of those guys, just like I'm not worried about it, and I think that's a good attitude to have. Not worried about who fishes it and all the politics and all the hoopla around it. Like if you just fish them for what they are, then I think you're chilling. But you just kind of know what you're getting yourself into, and as long as in the beginning, there's not really much else to say about it other than just put your money up and go fishing. Like it kind of is what it is.
Yeah,
it's a paper trail at this point, and we all know it. And who knows? I mean, some more guys drop out and You know, they might call down the list. They already called down the list from the invitationals this year and brought some guys up to BPT, all deserving guys, you know. Drew Gill and Justin Cooper and all them guys got some calls, and they got into BPT. So, you know, there you go. Like, you never know what could happen. They supposedly are only taking 5, but some more guys drop out. They might take 10. You just never know, you know. So you can't really blame those guys for fishing. I do think, though, based on a lot of the posts I've seen, a lot of the people I've talked to, some of these guys that are getting invites, man, they got a big wake-up call coming. Like, it's going to be a lot for them. Like,
oh, like they're not ready to be in it?
Dude, it's just, yeah, and it sucks because you see all these guys posting about invites, and they're getting all excited. But man,
if that's like a third of the field, I mean, if a third of the field are guys that are down the list, I mean, is the competition stout anymore? I mean, there's still some hammers.
Oh, there's going to be some great fishermen in it, no matter what. You know, a lot of people, to be honest, a lot of these really young guys that are getting invites, there's going to be probably a couple of them that take advantage of the opportunity and come out the gate swinging and
show what they can do.
Yeah, you never know. You know, opportunity is a big deal, so you never know. But I will say it ain't going to be, you know, what you've seen in the past couple of years. Even this year, you know, like fishing against some of those guys. Like, I don't know if you'll see all those names. You know, I don't know if it'll be that stout, you know, to be honest. But, you know, we'll see. I think they're going to catch them. But comparably, I'd really like to compare the cut weights. You know, they're not going to go to the same places, but I bet you those cut weights are a little further down than they were this year.
What do you think Rayburn's going to fish like?
I think it's going to be tough on a lot of guys.
How many guys are going to lose lower units?
Man, that's the scary part for those guys. It's like it's extremely low. You know, I was out here, you know, just a couple of days ago and trying to run some of the trails that I got, and you know, I had to put it down and idle quite a bit. So yeah, it's sketchy out there. So yeah, these guys are gonna have to be really careful. I think they'll be all right for the most part. A lot of them will probably be too scared to kind of go way up.
I think
north.
We need to do an updated chip.
Go out there. Yeah, you put some time in, you could do it.
I think you could do it. I mean, the Lance Vic chip is great. But there are some lanes. Do not run.
No, do not
Don't run them.
Yeah, but I mean, especially like I said, a lot of guys that
the one up the middle of the lake. The Emerald Forest, you cannot run up the middle of the lake anymore.
Yeah, that one's...
Anyway, we don't need to get into all
that.
But
weight-wise, I think you're going to see some heavy bags at the top. Probably either there's going to be 1 or about 2, possibly 3 guys that run away with it. And the cut line's going to be extremely low. So your 50 cut's probably going to look at...
Ebear and Marshall Hughes are going to run away with it.
Potential, you know, the lake's changed a lot. It could be somebody that comes in with some fresh eyes and does some damage. You know, we're talking mid-February, so depending on what this weather does.
I thought it was first week of February.
Mid-February. So there could be some fish on the move, setting up in the right places. You know, I don't know. It's going to be very interesting, but I do think the cut weight is going to be somewhere around 24 pounds. I don't think it's going to be very good.
That's for 2 days?
Yeah.
I can see that.
I don't think it's going to be very good.
That's top 50?
Yeah. I think it's going to be, I mean, well, actually, yeah, that's the pay line. The cut line is now 30. So 30 to fish the final day might be a little higher. But it'll be somewhere around there, man.
14
it's just,
today.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's the beauty of Rayburn. It's different every year. So this is going to really, really show that.
It's going to be a freaking live scope tournament is what it's going to be. They're going to scope the hell out of them.
No hope without the scope.
They're going to scope the hell out of them. Trust me. Anyways, guys, we got an exciting episode today. A guy that's already been on the show before, but not as a Elite Series Pro.
No.
Now he's a qualified Elite Series angler, Mr. Ben Milliken.
Milliken Fishing.
And, anybody that keeps up with him and his channel, you know that he's came out with some very interesting videos about the industry. And
some enlightening videos.
Some enlightening, you know, it's crazy. When I watched that video, it was like, dang.
Yeah. Well,
like put brand names out there and stuff, you know?
Yeah. I mean, he didn't necessarily call anybody out. He could have.
No, but there was logos of companies.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So, no, I mean, there's a lot of that going on right now. Guys just kind of telling it like it is.
Yeah, a lot of that.
He's always kind of been one of those people anyway, so.
Yes.
He's probably the most talked about guy right now anyway. He's everywhere.
Yeah, he is it's hard not to say. I don't know about the biggest.
He's the biggest name in the sport right now.
It could be, I mean, it's true.
He's definitely the most talked about.
Yeah, he's a big name, and it's going to be very interesting to see how the season goes for him.
I think he's going to do just fine.
We're going to get into that very soon.
But no, we want to talk to him about some videos he's put out and talking about qualifying and all the fun things, and let's get him on.
Yeah, we're just going to talk to him about everything. We don't even have a true direction.
We don't do that here.
That's not what we do.
No. We just call people and
we shoot from the hip.
Yeah, he hung up on us earlier. I hope we didn't lose signal.
What's going on, gentlemen?
Hey, man.
What's up, man?
How we doing?
Oh, just living the dream. Beautiful Sunday here on the south side of Sam Rayburn.
Man, you ain't kidding. It's beautiful out here. I'm on the way north right now, about to go to some not so beautiful weather, but I can't complain.
Uh-oh, where are we going?
Heading up to Grand Lake for some pre-practice this week for the Classics. So, yeah, I've been looking forward to getting up here and off limits on January 1st. So,
putting in some work.
That's awesome,
yes, sir.
Man. Classic qualified, Elite Series qualified. It's a big year ahead.
How jacked are you for that one?
I'm so excited for this one. I've been to both Classics. The last, I don't know if there's one before, but 2013, 2016 at Grand Lake, I was in attendance. And 13 was the first one I'd ever been to. So I was pumped then. So for like 10 years later to be in the Classic at the same venue is pretty surreal.
Yeah, that's got to be nuts. So was that the one that Evers won?
He won in 16. 13 was the one that Cliff Pace won.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Man. Well, you had quite the year. I mean, when did we have you? We had you on before. I don't remember. Was it in the middle of the season or was it before the season? I think it was before the season, right? Before we started the Opens?
Man, I think.
Yeah, I think it was. I think it was like right after I announced I was fishing the Open.
So that's right.
A little bit has changed since then.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean,
crazy.
You backed up all the hype. You had a hell of a season on the Opens, won the second one, and punched your ticket to the Elites. And that's, I mean, has it sunk in yet at all?
I think it finally has sunk in a little bit because it's kind of like it was like a celebration mode and just the good feeling of all of it for a couple months or I guess like a month. And now it's like, all right, time to work my ass off and get everything tightened up. The last few weeks or so, it's been a little bit stressful getting just the off-season stuff and trying to film the YouTube content on the side. So it's like I'm working several different jobs at the same time, but man, I can't complain. Something I've been dreaming about forever to fish at this level. So definitely taking each day and trying to really appreciate everything that's ahead of me here, even though it can be a little stressful to get everything planned.
Yeah. Based on some of the videos I've been seeing you post about the boat situation and everything, it doesn't sound like it's just all smooth sailing right now, which is not to be expected, right? I mean, it's always something with this deal.
Yeah, it's like that's just the way it is with the fishing industry and boat ownership, and yeah, it's not exactly the glamorous life that you think it will be on the outside looking in. I don't think.
No, man. I tell people all the time, like rigging a boat is probably my least favorite thing. I mean, it looks nice from the outside having a new boat every year, but honestly, I don't want one every year.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
For real.
Yeah.
Once
you get all your stuff set up the way you like it, and you're kind of rolling with it.
Yeah. You get a little good mojo in one.
For sure, especially with like all the electronics advances now, you just get that FOMO. You see everyone getting all the new technology every year, and of course, it's good to have the best stuff you can have on your boat. But I think it kind of forces you to switch things up a little bit. So you kind of got to relearn your electronics and make sure that it's what you want before the season starts. And the electronics never come in, or the boat never comes in, or anything before when it's supposed to. So, luckily I about got my boat and I have all my electronics. So I have that done. I just got to get it all rigged in about a week or two here.
So how crazy are you going? I mean, I've heard some rumors, some like Zaldanes and some other people are going absolutely nuts with screen sizes and graphs.
I'm not going too crazy. I'm running 5 graphs again like I did last year. 3 on the front, 2 at the console. And they're bigger. I'm running like all 16, so that's exciting.
Whoa, nice.
That's a lot of screen. But I mean, honestly, like you hear talks of like Koya having 5 or 6 live scopes on his boat or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think it's pretty silly for people to think that that's going to be a benefit to really anyone besides him, or I mean, a couple people in the world that are so advanced and dialed in. Like if I don't need more than one live scope transducer really, but I'm going to run 2 with the perspective map mode sometimes. And I probably won't even use that much. It's something that I want to tighten up and get a little bit better at. But at the same time, like, I don't know, it can really be over the top. And we do get far away from really everything we've learned with fishing sometimes, I think, by trying to constantly like add all this shit to our boat. And I'm kind of the type of guy that, like we're talking about, man, you start adding all this stuff and you get electronics on there, you start adding weight, you start getting more battery draw, and you start getting more batteries, you have more switches in your boat. And I want to have as many fail safes on the water as possible to keep me from getting stranded, because I mean, you catch a couple more giant fish or even not giant fish, just keepers that you weigh in throughout the year because you have the next greatest electronic on your boat and have one more transducer. But if you kill that battery and you don't make it back to weigh-in one day and you 0 for the day, then that was a waste of your entire season, basically. So you kind of got to walk that line.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
No doubt. So when are you going to do the big reveal? I mean, if you feel like telling everybody right now what boat you're running next year, when should we expect the big reveal?
Well, I'm going to get it. They said as early as this end of this week. I won't be home till the end of this week, but and then at that point we got videos backed up a little bit. So probably next week I'll be telling people what boat I'm running, do a video with that, and then get it rigged. And my wrap guy's coming down mid-January, I believe, to put the wrap on. So we'll have the boat in a week or so, boat video, and then wrap video at the end of January.
Nice. That's awesome, dude.
Any
new sponsor developments for you now that
nothing too crazy. Working with a couple local guys. Really Marine is a sponsor of mine. That they're a local shop that's pretty much anything on a boat, but they're rigging my boat. They got a good YouTube channel that they really do a lot of great boat rigging stuff and just simple mechanical stuff on boats. And man, nothing too crazy. As far as new sponsors go, just kind of doubling down with the people that I'm currently working with, and kind of just going with that.
Nice.
Sure.
Nice. Nothing wrong with that.
No doubt. But well, man, one of the videos I watched, I think everybody watched. There's a lot of views on that one that I think really kind of caught our attention. What we kind of wanted to hone in on this episode was the industry and having all these holding companies. I mean, that's something I'm honestly glad you kind of came out there and shared that. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people that know it, but I think a lot of the consumers don't.
No, I think a lot of people do not. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, of course.
So
yeah, it was. No, go ahead.
I was just asking kind of what drove you to. What was kind of the motive? What drove you to post that video?
Just it was kind of just pent up over a long period of time because I've seen it now being involved from an ownership side with the bait company, with the tackle company, over the years, getting more and more involved. And really just, there wasn't, I mean, the last couple of years, there has not been hardly any product that's come out, whether it be a bait product or I mean, really since LiveScope, nothing in the industry has come out that's really revolutionary or different. It's kind of everyone knocking each other off. It's the big conglomerates. And, it's something that on the inside, I'm seeing it from Sixth Sense too, or, I mean, once COVID hit, got all these private equity companies, calling constantly, trying to buy us out, trying to offer us whatever. And I talked to Casey about it, and I'm not going to share too much about those conversations, of course, but,
sure.
Obviously Sixth Sense, we didn't sell. We didn't think it was the right time at all. We're not even close to maximizing our potential, and we're growing like crazy. And so we kind of sat back and watched a lot of these companies get bought out. Some of these companies that were longtime brands in the industry that, not very many of them honestly were doing really well because they're kind of just, they didn't really latch on to the social media side of marketing. And so they were kind of old, tired brands. But then we also saw companies that, we worked business to business relationships with that got purchased and bought out. And, over time, we've just kind of seen what that's done to our industry in this COVID phase where we got so many new people into fishing, which is always great to get as many people into fishing as possible. But it also created the giant issue in the supply chain with supply and demand, where there was so much more demand and a lot of companies were killing it, and then they sold out of them all their stuff, and then they weren't able to get any of their stuff from China, or if they're manufacturing in the United States, everyone was at home in the manufacturing side of things with COVID. And so what it led to was them not having the money and getting offered large sums of money by private equity companies that scooped them up and bought into their company or just bought them outright. And I think we're already seeing, even within a couple of years, that we're seeing the effects of this, which is, like I outlined in the video, it's going to be products that were mainstays in your tackle box or just anywhere in the market. They're going to be going away because they didn't have high enough sales. Pro staff is going to be shifting and changing like crazy. Pro staff management and who you deal with, if you're on one of those pro staffs, is constantly going to be changing. And a lot of guys get cut constantly, whether you're a professional angler or, it's hard on the employees too that work there. And, and that was really, like I talked about in the video, that was at a time and is at a time the last couple of years when the market's really booming, the fishing industry is booming, there's a lot of money getting dumped into it. Well, now it's kind of, gone back down. We've heard from a lot of companies, most companies in the industry have said this, that everything's down a lot and it's not really trending like it's going to go up anytime soon. So it's really going to be interesting in the coming years here when private equity gets out of it what they hope to get out of it, and they're looking to, make their margin or start cutting brands and products altogether, what that's going to look like for our industry as a whole.
Yeah, and it seems like, and for me, one of the concerns, it seems like they're cutting SKUs for a lot of the wrong reasons, and some of those being, profit margins as well, right? So they're, it's not, when these big companies take over, it's no longer about making the best product they can. It's about making the most money they can. Mm-hmm. The problem with that is now you lose innovation because they don't really care about innovation. They just want to sell high profit margin items. So we don't want to spend a ton of money in R&D. And I don't know this. Here I am speaking for these big companies, but I could see these money guys that are numbers guys that have nothing to do with the industry.
Yeah, writing's on the wall there. Yeah.
It's pretty obvious what they're doing. Mm-hmm. I mean, why would I spend a bunch of money on R&D to make the next greatest crankbait or jerkbait or whatever it is, innovate something new that's going to cost a bunch of money and we're going to have to sell a ton to make anything? I mean, they're not doing that. So, I mean, that's the negative side for me.
Yeah, 100%, man. It's a nail on the head right there. The innovation goes away with it, and the consumer pays for that in the long run. And this kind of, I got a lot of some negative feedback on it because people are like, well, yeah, idiot, that's called capitalism. Are you not for capitalism? Do you want to live in a communist market? No, I don't want to live in a communist market. That's not what I'm saying. But it's not anything new. Of course, this has been happening for decades, and it's happened to a lot of other industries. But, I feel like I have a platform and a voice that can kind of call out some of this when we're at a point right now in the industry where we can still correct a lot of this. And the industry always will correct. People are going to get sick of buying that shit. And then smaller companies like, 6 Cents and these other mom and pop brands are going to make innovative products. And then the market's going to swing back that way, obviously. But, it's not something where I was trying to just force people to buy 6 Cents or something like that. I got a lot of those negative comments too.
No, I didn't see that.
I feel like we're at a time right now where, like I said, we can do something about it. We can, choose what products we want to buy and what we want to support. And we can take notice and really people can see a little bit of why this brand is changed their entire business direction and gone this way. Hopefully put the writing on the wall for the general consumer that doesn't really understand what's going on.
Yeah, no, I'd love to see it right itself and see the rise of some other companies. And I mean, obviously you guys are killing it with, I mean, you guys are coming out with new stuff left and right, and it's all good stuff here. I find myself waiting for my orders to come in.
Yeah, no kidding.
I just got a bunch of those little panoramas, but no. Anyway, I think you're going to see that shift to where other small companies will start to innovate, and that will be the new trend. And hopefully, consumers will be smart enough to realize, this one might cost a little more, but I'm supporting independent. This guy's actually making something I think is going to catch fish. Not just trying to make this crap as cheap as possible.
Yeah, where I was kind of going with that too, I completely lost train of thought, of course. But my video was I kind of boiled over for me watching like the Jacob Fouts video and seeing some of these other just like clickbait bullshit topics over and over and over about what's ruining the fishing industry, when I don't think that the pro fisherman, your average pro fisherman, or even your top level pro fisherman, has really seen, what part they played in this by jumping from sponsor to sponsor simply to make a little bit more money every single year, instead of really, sitting down and having a communication with the current companies you work with and trying to figure out how you can work together and how you can give more to give it an opportunity to grow that company and promote their products. Because, that's what happens when you're an Elite Series Pro. I think he said, not to pick on Jacob Fouts, I'm sure he's a good dude and he's obviously a great fisherman, but he said in his video, I thought I'd be making all this money when I got in the Elite Series, but in 2 or 3 years, he's made $7,000 in sponsorship deals. Well, it's like, you don't just get money thrown at you. I mean, these sponsors, you're literally working for them. It's a job to work for each sponsor. Yeah. And so if you're taking deals for no money, then you're just feeding into the issue. I mean, there's a lot of power in saying no to different companies that are not giving you what you feel you deserve. And but at the same time, there needs to be responsibility to understand that if you keep hearing no over and over and over, then you don't have that much to offer. What can you change to make yourself more valuable, or what can you capitalize on to be more valuable to that company if it's not from having a lot of subscribers or followers on social media,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, you got to do a little self-reflection on that. And they're all great points, man. It's kind of cool to see you kind of go on there and share some of those thoughts that I think a lot of people are scared to talk about. And, to give Fouts a little credit, though, I mean, he did do that, but it's hard to deliver that message without sounding a little bit like you're whining. But
yeah, of course.
I think these are all great conversations everybody needs to have. I think we need a little more transparency, authenticity in the industry. Guys going on there that are sponsored, and if they're not getting what they think they should be getting, and they're just going on there with the same old sales pitch, when reality consumers are kind of understanding now, especially with social media, you might not be using that product that you say you're sponsored by. So I'm all for a little more authenticity and transparency throughout. So
100%, man.
Did you get any flack from the old guard in the industry with that one? Were that some of the people that kind of?
No, I was surprised actually. I got text messages from people in the industry that I never thought I would be reached out to by, and I still am this last week. So it's been pretty crazy. I mean, I had Swindle and Skeet Reese and Rick Clun and all these guys reaching out to, just tell me that the video really struck home and it's 100% accurate with what they've seen over amount of time, which is, it's cool because I could never have the perspective that they have being in this industry. And so, I mean, just to kind of speak to what some of the issues they've seen as they've kind of gotten past their prime and been in the industry for such a long time, it was cool to hear that.
No, that is super cool. So
yeah, very cool.
So have you been pretty well received? I mean, I know you hadn't had a tournament yet, but it sounds like you've already started talking to some guys and guys reaching you out, congratulating you and looking forward to it and getting to know you. I mean, do you feel like you've been pretty well received by the elites?
Yeah, I think so. I think so for sure. I haven't obviously met a lot of them in person, but I mean, one thing I kind of noticed, I'm sure you probably did too, Shane, when the elite guys came down and fished the open, it wasn't, I didn't know if they would be too cool for school or intimidating or whatever, but it seemed like you could just you could tell how professional those guys all were. They were just on a different level mentally, and just the way they carried themselves and acted. I felt like every time I'd see one of them on the water, they weren't trying to mess with anybody or come in on people because they thought they were better than anybody else. Everybody just kind of went about their business on and off the water from the guys that I talked to. So I think it's been a lot of that. I don't think anybody, I'm sure I have people, some guys want to have a target on my back because I'm the social media guy, but I have not felt that at all from them. I think everyone just kind of does their job and goes on like they have. And the opens guys that qualified, I feel like I'm pretty cool with all those guys, and they seem to all kind of be cut from the same cloth. They're just grinders out there. So yeah, I've been received well, I feel like.
Yeah,
that's good, man. That's good.
No, that's super good. The guys that aren't received well, they're probably just scared to death.
Yeah, no kidding.
They're like, oh gosh.
I just can't even it would be intimidating if you weren't received well, because I mean, I look at the damn roster. It's like, holy shit, everybody on here is so good.
No, I mean,
there's just,
you saw what it took to go through the opens. I mean, first of all, the points record-setting year. What a crazy, just to make it in that field is insane.
Yeah.
So you look at the names that are in it. It's like there's not going to be one in there that's like, that guy's done.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, all of them.
I think you're going to have a great year. What do you schedule-wise? I mean, obviously
starting the year at Tolado.
I'm sure you're looking forward to that one.
At Tolado Bend, right down the road.
Yeah, right down the road. I haven't been there one day since the day I won there. I have not put my boat back in Toledo somehow. I don't know how that's happened, but I guess just traveling around, staying busy. But yeah, I'm about to go get some free practice in there probably in January, because I think it'll be a little bit more applicable maybe. Obviously, free practice, everything changes since it's 4 weeks before official practice. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to starting there, and then Fork, man, the next week. And then the classics after that.
Man, freaking Fork. You're going to.
The first two are bangers. You're just going to take some mega weight to win those.
It really, when you look at the schedule, dude, I don't know what term it's not a banger. You go Toledo, Fork, Harris Chain, St. John's, Lake Murray in South Carolina, Wheeler, Smith, Champlain, St. Lawrence. I mean, we're talking about for real, heavy. The first two.
Yeah, I mean, those are. Yeah.
The first two are gonna be really heavy, but I think you're gonna see several century belts come out there.
Whoa.
Yeah.
The first two. For
yeah,
sure.
I could see. People, of course, they see Fork on the schedule, and everyone gets excited about big weights there, but I know it's, that's going to be a time of year when there's a lot of the fish are moving around a lot, and they've been beat on in the head all winter long, and the lake's already, it's low. There's been a million people fishing it all winter. So I think Fork might actually be a little tougher. Obviously, there's always a chance to century belt there, but looking at Toledo, the week that is, that's like the week last year when you were seeing 35 to 40 pound bags in the DFL. Massive limits. And so, I mean, if we don't get some crazy windstorm for 3 or 4 days, I don't know if we could break the record all time if everything sets up right, but could be. I mean, you could see a 40 bag and a share lunker or several share lunkers in that tournament if it sets up right.
Oh, there will be a share lunker caught.
You think so?
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Oh yeah.
That's. I mean, I get it.
For sure.
It is what it is, but that's still.
I bet you, Benny here catches one in practice.
You think so?
Well, hopefully I'll shake it off.
Yeah, shake it off. Put it back where you found her. Go back and catch her. No, that's what is the record? What is the all-time record? I don't even know.
I don't know anymore.
It's way up there.
I think it's like 140-ish.
Oh God. I don't know, dude.
So that's like what? That's that's way over 4 30-pound days. That's
That's like
4 35-pound days.
35.
Is that
Yep.
Paul, is
Yeah,
that Paul Elias
that's
got
gonna be
that?
tough.
I don't think so. Paul Weiss doesn't hold that anymore, right? At Falcon.
I think it was Falcon.
Oh, okay.
I think it's still Falcon.
Okay, he
Gotta
still
be.
holds it. I got you.
It could happen, but
Yeah.
I mean the weather, like you said, is so unpredictable here. If you get any kind of bad wind, that's going to shut that down. But if you get the right conditions, that lake could definitely. So is that the one you're looking forward to the most?
I mean, like I said, it's a different time. It's pre-spawn, so it'd be different than when I won there. But yeah, of course, I'm looking forward to that. Outside of the Classic, I'm looking forward to the Classic more than the rest of them. But I mean, the whole schedule is ridiculous. Smith Lake, it sounds like, is a spotted bass fishery, and it's about the most intimidating lake I've looked at ever on a map. It's just ridiculous looking, and I've heard that it's like insane party boat traffic, and it's the week before 4th of July. So, that'll be a little hairy. And Shane, I know you saw how Wheeler can get, and so, you know, it'll definitely be nice to fish a Wheeler with 100 boats instead of 230.
I was just about to ask you, surely you got to be looking forward to fishing that one with half as many people. Have a little more room.
For sure. And I mean, I think when we were there, they were still kind of messed up post spawn or something. It wasn't like wide open good at all.
No.
I heard so much going into that, how good that lake is and how it's a sleeper and one of the best on the Tennessee River chain. And I did not like that lake that much, but never really got out of it what I thought I could do. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to going back to some places I've been before.
Sure.
For sure. Yeah. Lake Murray's a little intimidating too on the map. Like,
100%.
It's kind of like
I've never even looked at it.
It's kind of like Hartwell almost on the map. You know, like it's got a lot of like not acreage wise, but a lot of fishable water. Like, you know what I mean?
Got them though, man. It's got good quality fish. But I think
sounds like everyone that went there last year loved it. So it should be good.
Fish.
We get to go out of Waddington again. So that'll make the St. Lawrence tournament a little bit different and interesting.
Have they told you whether the lake's off limits yet or not?
No, it's not.
I think it's all open. I think you can fish anything you can get to.
Yep. You just got to run an hour and a half to get to the mouth of the lake or whatever it is.
Talk about barge traffic, man. I don't know how far you ran in that, but man, I took some in the teeth on those big boats down there on the river.
Yeah, it only took me jumping one of those wakes once, and then I was like, I see those things are 2 miles away. I'm like shutting her down. Waiting for the wave.
Crazy.
No, that American Narrows, I don't know if you went through there that weekend when we first started the practice.
Oh, yeah.
How wild it was. That was sketchy to go through in a bass boat.
Really?
That wasn't cool, man.
No.
Yeah, that's a part of St. Lawrence. Everyone gets so Google-eyed about the giant smallmouth and everything, but you don't hear about that crazy boat traffic that's up there. And really, I mean, that's a daunting run. And it's just like expected. Yep, whatever. It's 80 miles to the lake. Everyone will do it, I guess. But yeah, a lot of shit can go wrong.
Yeah, no doubt. But that's super cool. It's a great fishery. I want to go back there so bad.
Yeah.
I loved it up there.
Me too, man. I need to get some revenge on that place. Everything I found in practice was just gone. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think you'll light it up over there too. But I think you're gonna have a great season.
I do too. Would you almost venture to say? I don't want to say the elites would be. I don't want to say easier, but it's definitely a different animal than the opens, right? Like you're talking.
That's a good question.
Not near as many boats and like, I don't want to be mean or anything, but kind of like a lot of people in the way, like you would have in the opens. Like I don't want to say anything mean or anything to other anglers.
There's a lot of people in the way.
It's just like people kind of in your way and stuff. Have you thought about that or how that might be like more of a beneficial, because I've always thought about that from the outside looking in. It's like, man, it's kind of almost like you got to play the opens game to get there. And then once you do get there, it'll be a lot different. I don't want to say easier, but definitely not as
hard.
I guess it's a different hard. It's a different difficult.
No. Dude, you're not kidding, man. I've thought about that since the minute I qualified. It was like a relief because, I mean, nothing against them. Almost all the co-anglers I met are great people and stuff, but it sucks fishing with a co-angler a lot of times. You have to completely change the way you fish, and I mean, it's hard to tell someone like you're set up on a specific spot and you're casting to it. And I mean, I look like an asshole in my videos a lot of times, but you're fishing a damn spot that you just drove all over the country, spent however much money, lodging, gas, and then you idled around, used your electronics and your expertise to find this spot, this however many days of practice, and you get to that spot and you're finally on it. You get it. There's no boats on it, and your co-angler just showed up with some rods at the boat dock, and I mean, I catch a fish and I'm putting it in a live well, and co-angler is firing over your shoulder up to that brush pile where you just caught one.
Yeah.
While you're putting it in the live well and stuff. I mean, you can't do that, but that's not something that's like discussed in a meeting anywhere, or there's no video that's like, this is the rules of co-angling. Do not do this. There's some videos that say certain things, but I mean, there's just times where I'm just like, dude, please do not cast there while I'm retying or putting this fish in the box. You know, You can cast. You got the back half of the boat. You can cast anywhere you want to. Just don't cast up to that fish or that pile. So I mean, it puts you in a tough position. And then, yeah, as far as the other boats and stuff goes, I mean, I really thought towards the end of the season it got a lot better with different guys, sitting on spots that I kind of felt had no I don't know. I shouldn't say they didn't have the right to sit on spots, but a lot less of the people that they'd see you there on the first day, and then you'd show up and they were there on the second day after they caught 2 pounds and 7 ounces the first day, and you watched them drive by you and stare you down the first day when they went by. So it seemed like there was a lot less of that towards the second half of the season. Did you notice that, Shane?
Yeah. There was quite a few guys that fell off. I didn't have too many run-ins. I had one run-in with one kid who saw me catch 2 4s off a spot, and he literally just came and sat on top of it where I couldn't cast that, and he sat there the next 2 days. The rest of that day, but that was one bad apple, whatever. I didn't even make a deal out of it. But yeah, I could see that. I could see that the second half of the season, guys were becoming more respectful of, hey, you're in contention or you're not in contention or whatever. There was definitely some guys that knew how to play the game the right way. So.
Yeah, I agree, man, for sure.
But the Opens is like the freaking gauntlet, dude. It's it's its own game. I'm telling you, dude, it's its own. Like I didn't fish like all 9 like y'all did. Hopefully in 2020, what year are we?
2025.
2025. Hopefully that's my goal. I'm working all year to do that. But man, like it is a whole different game, And I feel like I don't know. I just feel like it's going to be a lot better for you now. I just do. I feel confident to say that you're not worried about somebody in the back of the boat, how you position your boat, how there's just so much that goes into it nobody thinks about, when you're dealing with.
Well, I'm sure you've talked to some elite guys, and I've talked to, a couple that I'm buddies with, and they'll say they won't necessarily admit that it's, I don't want to say that it's easier, like you said, but
right.
that it just is different. You can fish.
Yeah.
Room.
Yeah.
I talked to John Sokup quite a bit as the year kind of wound down in the Opens. He jumped in a bunch of them, and he was trying to help me out any way he could mentally. But he kind of put it away. He said that, you always have to be on your A game in the Elite. You have to catch them because everyone's going to catch them. He said, if you bring your B game, you're not going to get paid. And he said, it's as difficult as it is to make a top 10 in the Opens just to get a check in the Elite. So that's where you have to set your sights on the quality of fish you're catching because everyone's going to catch them. So, yeah, it's like it'll be easier to catch them, but you have to catch more.
Yeah. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Yep. That's a perfect way to put it. Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
No, if you look at their weights, usually the guys that win the Elite events and they're in the top 10, their weights grow throughout the event.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They might have one slower day than the others, but usually they're figuring out as the tournament's going on, the weights are improving. Whereas if you look back at the Opens, that's usually not always the case. I mean, some guys do rise to the top with bigger bags on second day, make adjustments and improvements, whatever. But for the most part, it starts to trend down.
Yeah,
right?
They smash.
Yeah,
they smash.
A lot of that's pressure too. I think. I mean, you got 230 boats and co-anglers catching fish. I mean, it just can't get better on a lot of these fisheries the next day after they just got their heads beat in or all drug across the lake.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm going to ask you what you would do to change, but, like they sent out that survey at the end of the year and asked for suggestions on, what could we do to improve the tournaments? And I was like, no co-anglers, which, they
Yep.
may never get rid of that, but less practice and less people. I think you should have to qualify to get the opens. I know it wouldn't be called the opens anymore, but just allowing, and again, I know you were kind of touching on this, Wyatt, there's some people that fish the opens that I'm not going to say don't belong, but just maybe aren't ready to be at that level. And
100%.
we don't need 200. That's just too many people. It's too much pressure on the lake. I mean, 5 days of practice is too much. They beat the crap out of the fish on those lakes. So what did you put anything in that? Did you even fill it out? You're like, I'm going to
No, I didn't fill it out. Yeah, I was way too cool for it. That's not my problem anymore. Screw those guys.
Right.
Now, yeah, I would say exactly the same thing. Definitely no co-anglers. I mean, guys are fishing, like spending so much time and money out there you never know what's going to happen with a co-angler that's going to derail and affect your day. And it shouldn't be that way when you're fishing to qualify for something that doesn't have co-anglers. So, so that would be one thing for sure for me. I think definitely let's practice, because you're going to have 5 days of practice. Everyone's going to want to be there all 5 days, or else you feel like you're at a disadvantage, which a lot of times you are. So I think, if you're qualifying for a circuit that has 2.5 days of practice, you should probably have 2.5 days of practice. Just get used to that. I think the information and stuff, there's a ton of that going on in the opens, whether that helps or not, hard to tell, but I think that's too hard to police. So I don't think that'll ever change really.
No.
What you said was absolutely right. There needs, the Bassmaster Weekend Series division, whatever they called it, doesn't exist anymore. Bass needs to have something that's at the BFL, caliber, or even, I'd love to see something a little bit more expensive, a $500 entry fee series. I mean, that's a ton of infrastructure to just be like, why don't they just have that series and have, 70 more tournaments around the country? No big deal. Tow the trailer around, right?
Yeah.
But there needs to be something between high school and college fishing and the open, and there isn't, besides the team stuff that they do with the team championship, but that's just like little local stuff like that. So I agree. You're still going to have a ton of guys that aren't ready for the opens level, and then that pipe dream hopping into it, that I guess that's just going to be part of our sport forever, with that gambling aspect of it, that people are just going to think they can do it without being able to.
Yeah, well, we kind of spoke on the invitationals before this, and talking about some of the invites that are going out right now to some of these guys and stuff, and some of these younger guys that are just, man, it's just like I'm happy that they're getting the invites and they feel happy about getting them and proud and stuff. But it's just like they're just fixing to get a wake up call, and it's unfortunate for them, because what that does in turn is really just crush a lot of dreams. Like it just does.
And we're not saying that these guys are never going to be good enough.
No, absolutely
that's not it. It's if you get in too early.
Yeah. And
I think every one of us would say we were at some point we were at a level we knew we weren't ready to go to the opens, or the elites, or wherever, invitationals, and if you get in too early and you get beat down, it's going to be hard to recover from.
It is, and you just
go ahead.
Yeah, that's a nice thing. I know it's been talked about a lot, but when Bass made this, you got to fish all 9 events. It definitely gets you ready, I think, mentally and financially, more than anything, of what it would be like if you qualified. So a lot of people didn't like that. It kind of did take the working man for most people with normal jobs out of it. Mm-hmm. But it couldn't be more true. I mean, I'm looking at my travel expenses for next year on the Elite Series and what's coming, and it's actually going to be less. It's going to be easier on me than the open schedule was, because I mean, it's 2 less days of travel and lodging because the practice being shorter, and there's 3 back-to-backs, which is great. And I mean, really the only thing that goes up is entry fees. And so it's kind of crazy that everything's cheaper besides entry fees to the next level. And I mean, you definitely got to be in a different place financially and with your career to even make that jump. And I think, I always wanted to make that jump to the open level since I was, 21 and winning local stuff like crazy. But there's no way you could possibly be ready for that unless you had a very wealthy family. Then it's just going to let you do that before you got any type of a career going on really.
Yeah, no doubt. No, I agree with that on the 9 thing. There was a lot of people that said took the workman out, but that really did truly show you like this is what it's like fishing 9 events on the road.
Yeah,
and it's the travel schedule next season for the Opens guys.
Oh,
how rough!
It's rough, dude.
I mean,
rough.
dang.
Shane, are you fishing them?
No, I'm not, man. I'm taking a year off.
That's a good call.
Yeah,
I can't blame you, dude.
Yeah, I like the schedule. I want to fish some of those, but like we're talking about on the financial side, you got to really be realistic, and if I would have qualified this year, I wouldn't have had the sponsor support to go, and it'd be like almost kind of a waste. So I'm like, hold on, if I'm really going to pursue this, I need to back up and work on the sponsor side of things for a little while, and really put myself in a position to where if I do qualify, if I fish them again and do qualify, then I'm actually ready and can go.
Exactly.
But
yeah, I agree.
But the schedule next year, God,
it's a nightmare. Yeah,
the travel is.
I don't know, man. I mean, you can't harp on anyone for bass because I understand it's hard to put a schedule together when you're trying to mix it in with the elite schedule and not overlap and everything. But man, it is isn't there no back-to-backs and it zigzags across the country? The fisheries, a lot of people were excited about the fisheries. When I saw them, I wasn't excited at all. So, I mean, I'm so glad I'm not doing that again.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it was as good as our schedule we had this season, but it's decent compared to previous years. But yeah, we go to South Carolina. They go to South Carolina twice, and they didn't do them back to back.
Well, yeah, the month apart and having to go up and down.
You go
the
up
country.
north 3 times.
I
like
know,
and
they're not
people from the
You'd
south.
rather just be back to back. You know what I mean? At that point,
yeah, 100%.
I'd rather stay up there for a month than have to drive back and forth.
Oh, dude, it's ridiculous. But
it is what it is. Are you gonna fish the Opens next year, or just focus on the elites?
No, I thought about it, but I'm definitely just going to focus on the elites. I might try to hop in something on the MLF side, jackpot those like a Toyota or something. But I've looked at the schedule; those don't match up super well for me. So
sure.
I'm really going to try to focus all my my mental capacity on this elite series, and when it kind of sets up well to where I can on the way to different places and on the way home I can stop and pre-practice for a day or whatever. So.
Yeah.
We'll kind of see and just focus on that this year.
Sure. So on content wise, I mean, obviously you're going to document this. Everybody's going to be watching.
Mm-hmm.
Are you kind of telling yourself you're going to try to do as much content as you normally do, or are you going to probably do a little less content as to just focus more in on the elites?
Yeah, I'm going to try to get out as much as I possibly can. I don't know what that's going to mean. Honestly, like I said, it's a couple days less travel to each of these tournaments, and with 3 back-to-backs, the back-to-backs can be tough because I mean, you get off the water from practice and you don't want to go edit for 3 hours or make a thumbnail or do all that shit. And a lot of these places don't have Wi-Fi and stuff, so it can get really, really difficult when you're up north for the second week in a row to get content going. But I'm going to do as much as I can to get the same amount of content I did this year.
Heck
Perfect.
yeah. Well, everybody's going to be watching for sure.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Us
It's
included.
going to be fun, man.
Team Juice. You're gonna have to come on throughout the season.
I'm gonna throw something bold out here.
What's that?
I'm predicting a blue trophy.
Oh, Van Million's got
no pressure, but dude, momentum is a powerful thing, and you got a lot of it going. So it's fun to watch.
I appreciate
honestly,
that, man. I appreciate it. Hopefully, I mean, the first one would be as good a place to do it.
As I'm about to say, to start the year off.
Yeah. They'll just rename
100%,
Toledo
man.
Bend.
Yeah. There's only been a few, if I'm not mistaken, to win their first ever Elite Series event. I think
Brian New.
Brian New did it. Yeah.
I remember Wheeler won his first year on the Elites, right? But he didn't win the first one, I don't think.
Yeah, I think it was just his first year.
Yeah, that would be sick.
I mean, there was when there were 5 rookies last year. 5 rookie wins.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Joey Cifuentes, he won too.
Yeah, good point, man. Yeah, a blue trophy would be unbelievable. I'm just trying to hopefully show that I belong this year and not finish 90-second points. I have to have a angler of the year to stay in the Elite Series for my third year and second year. So we'll do our best.
Yeah, that's probably not going to happen. I think you're going to be all right.
I think he's going to be just fine.
But anyways, man, we'll have you on throughout the season if you're down, and we'll just have you as a guy and see how everything's going.
I appreciate it. You guys feel free to holler at me whenever. I'll hop on whenever you guys want me.
Yes, sir.
You got it, man. We appreciate your time. Safe travels.
All right, thanks, dude. Take it easy.
All right, man. See you.
There you have it.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Yeah, I was going to say this earlier, but you kind of spoke on the opens thing and how the qualifying circuit, I know this is kind of like looping back, but, Bassmaster used to be, what is it doing?
I don't know. I saw it
what
glitching.
Is it
that's what
doing,
we're like,
man?
It's recording. We just lost visual. We gotta aid. Miss Lauren, can you help us for a second?
Lauren,
see if look at the back of that camera, see if it's on. At least we got.
what do we got to do here? Unplug it, plug it again.
I don't know.
Golly.
Back on.
All right, guys.
Is it the camera? I think it's something with this.
Is it? Are you actually recording?
Yeah.
All right.
I just started back up. You were talking about the opens.
Yes. I was talking about the Bassmaster Opens, and I was going to say, do you remember when ABA used to be associated with them?
Yes.
They could use them as a qualifying circuit if they associated with them again.
Instead of having to do it themselves.
Yes. ABA is already set up for that.
Makes sense.
They're set up regionally.
Yeah, like it's for qualification trail into the opens.
Yeah.
I think they should do it.
I'm just saying that.
But I get it. I mean, Milliken said it. Ben said it. Like, low. How hard it'd be to have 70 more tournaments throughout the country. I mean, it'd be a pain in the ass.
Not if you have ABA. It's already set up.
Yeah, if you already use somebody that's already set up to do it.
They used to use them anyways.
I think Bass should hire us as consultants. Is also what I think.
What should we get paid?
6 figures for sure. Free entries into whatever you want to fish.
Yeah.
On
That's
top
what I
of
was
6
thinking.
figures. You know what? I'll take a pay cut.
That's what I was thinking.
Take $90K a year, free entries into the opens and elites.
And elites.
And a classic berth. But they got the Bass Nation, which we should tell the folks at home, which you haven't got signed up yet. But the new national qualifier, in case you hadn't seen that, Bass Nation is another way to get to the elites and classic. They came up with a new format, the national qualifiers. There's 4 of them regionally. And I signed up for one, Eufaula, in February. Eufaula, Alabama.
I'm probably going to sign up with you and roll with you.
Yeah, you should, because that place is super fun. Super fun. Good lake. Anyway, you finish in the top 20 in one of the qualifiers, you automatically qualify for the nation championship. The nation championship winner goes to the classic and elites. They take 3 from the nation championship to the classic, actually.
Wow.
4. 3 in the top co-angler.
Oh, okay. I got you.
I think.
Wow, that's really cool, man.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I think there's 53 or 54 guys in the classic. However they do it.
50-something.
Yeah.
Whatever it ends up being. But, no, it's another way. So, I'm going to go that route because it's far cheaper, but I'm only going to have one shot at it. So, no big deal.
Could you fish them all if you wanted to?
You can fish all 4 regional, national qualifiers.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I think it's Mississippi, La Crosse, Wisconsin. Champlain, I think, is one of them. And then the other one sucks. It's Arkansas River in Oklahoma. Blah.
Yeah, man. That's a pretty good deal.
Anyway, so you're going to fish that?
Yeah.
You're welcome.
We have got tournament season right around the corner, guys. So
it is.
We are finally getting some colder weather pushing in. Water temps are finally starting to get down a little bit. It still
Upper
isn't
50s.
Still isn't right, but it's about time to start putting in a lot of time. Me and Shane are gonna Be doing some fishing this year. Probably going to be fishing quite a bit.
Yeah, and try not to knock our lower units off our boat. That's the goal for me.
So
Rayburn is sketchy.
it's coming.
But yeah, it's gonna be upon us fast when we got Christmas and New Year's, and then next thing you know, it's like bam, BFL, bam, Bass Champs, bam,
Everything.
it just happens.
January, February February is nuts.
In our part of the country, when tournament season starts in January, like first week of January, it's like an explosion of tournaments.
You're on go mode.
Like 0 to 100.
Last year was really. Last year was, or should I say, this year was really good to us, and hopefully, next season is going to be
even better.
even better.
W's.
Team Juice.
Lots of W's. I want to win a belt
That'd be sick. I really just want to win whatever in the heck.
and an AOI. But the only thing we're really fishing that we could get AOI that will fish the full series is the belt.
Potentially, I haven't really looked at everything, but
Yeah.
But it's coming, guys, and we're gonna try to get somebody on soon. I don't know how soon. We're trying to
Let's try to film one next week.
we might just film one with me and Shane.
Yeah.
If we got to, we could talk about all kinds of stuff. Tournament season's coming up. Maybe that's a good topic. We'll talk about. Look at the schedule. It's a nightmare. Maybe we could put it up right here.
Prioritize a schedule.
Here's a schedule. Look at this. This is a nightmare.
Are we going to do that one video I talked about doing?
What's that?
100 fish.
No.
Why?
It's too late for that, man.
No, it's not.
It's too cold for
We
that.
go next week. We're going to do a video next week. Might do a live.
He wants to see if we can catch 100 bass in a day.
Okay, so there's a thing that goes around. People like to advertise, guides like to advertise, which I personally would never advertise this because then you're kind of setting the bar like, oh, so-and-so called me because I said I caught 100 fish a day.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I think it can be done. I think it's going to be extremely difficult to catch 100 bass, largemouth bass, not
spotted bass? You're not counting them? Because me and you fished an every fish counts tournament if they were 1 pound or bigger, and I know we caught 100.
No.
Because we did, because we had 87 scorables.
63 scorables.
We had 87.
I have a picture of it.
That was the first one.
When we had 100 pounds?
I thought we had 100 pounds twice.
Maybe.
Go look.
Every fish over a pound counted.
And we threw back.
We maybe caught 100.
We threw back a ton.
No way, dude.
And, dude, I'm telling y'all, that was like catching them. Like,
we
worn
had 4
out
schools. We would literally like drive 5 minutes to school, catch like 20 in a row, go back.
That was
I'll
worn.
look it up. Anyway, we want to do a thing about is it possible to catch just something fun, something different, whatever. Maybe you guys think it's stupid, won't watch us, but I'll enjoy doing it.
Anyways, guys,
I got to go tend to my country loaf that I'm.
Cowboys play the Bills. Gotta go watch that game. Cowboys they're rolling. So
I don't want to say anything. I don't want to jinx anything.
Hey, I'm just saying this before we leave.
I'm just
if
tired
the Cowboys
of them letting us down, man.
they just beat the Eagles. If they beat the Bills, the Dolphins, and the Lions to end the year, y'all get ready.
We've talked about duck hunting. We've
Let
talked about football.
If they
We're going to turn into the Joe Rogan podcast.
if Dallas
What's wrong with my hat?
wins out, bro, and they stay healthy.
They're going to disappoint us again.
Super Bowl.
God.
Boys going to the bowl.
Is that how we're going to end this?
Till next time, guys.